I saw the Wraith, and that is. I mean, I think that part is cool. That Jeff Dunham has the Wraith car from the movie, but I don't respect the art form of ventriloquism like you do. And I don't really believe you when you say that Mark Hamill wasn't a ventriloquist. I think that you're a liar. And if you want to fight over it, let's fight over it.
No. Mark Hamill was not a ventriloquist.
Okay, well, maybe he's not up to your standard, but he was a ventriloquist.
I need to see footage. I don't believe you.
He was the guy from...
No.
Luke Skywalker was the guy in Soap, right?
No.
He was, right?
No, that's Jay Johnson. Yeah.
I don't know. Prove
Jay
it.
Johnson was the...
okay, well then...
He played Chuck and Bob Campbell in Soap.
Chuck and Bob.
Chuck and Bob Campbell.
Okay,
Isn't
well
that
then...
a great name? Chuck and Bob.
Yeah.
Sounds like a bad...
Like, oh, so he's Chuck and the dummy is Bob?
I'm pretty sure he was Chuck and the dummy was Bob.
Okay. But I'm going to look up ventriloquist. I can't spell... How do you spell ventriloquist? There's a Q in there somewhere.
Let me look up Jay Johnson again.
Oh... Man. Okay. It comes up. Okay. Mark Hamill played the voice in the Batman cartoon of a villain called the Ventriloquist.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. Okay, I do
Jeff
remember
Dunham has a Batmobile.
Yes.
So now we're full circle.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, full
fine.
Circle. That's what I was thinking.
And now we can get back to respecting Jeff Dunham and his art form, like you always have.
Well, he's a car guy too, right?
Yeah, he's got cars. I don't know.
Weird, obscure cars.
Yeah, like
Nothing like Mickey Thompson, but
yeah, it's weird though. Like when you see, it can't, because a car guy's not just a car guy. You know, is a car guy's a car guy's a car guy. It can't be like that. We've said in previous episodes too of like, well, you know, like you're at a party and somebody goes, "Oh, you like cars? My brother likes cars.
He's got a great Aries K.
Yeah, you should go check it out. You guys would get along. Great."
He got it new when he was 17.
And then it's like, and he's got some Volkswagen Beetle that has all these like toys welded onto the side of it, you know, and everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh. It was so funny, dude. That literally happened. I had somebody who my sister was dating at the time, and then their brother. So I had no connection with him, so it didn't matter how I thought of him.
Okay.
But he had a bug that he had all these trophies, and I had just restored like a 65 Beetle. And I'd done, you know, this Baja Blue. We had lowered it a little bit. I got all the paint right. It was fresh. Redone the interior in this pale yellow or pale white and pale white, you know, white seats. And I got the ivory steering wheel, got it all classic, you know, so it was gorgeous and ready for the museum.
Ready for concourse.
Yeah, put it in there. It was running great. And he had something that resembled a pirate ship. And an Applebee's at the same time.
Whoa!
Because it just like, look at all this tchotchkes on our wall. You know, I'm like going, okay, this could be. I would see you guys buying this car and then mounting it to the wall of a restaurant called Shenanigans or something like that. Something
Great place to eat.
And like 16 points of flair and stuff like that. You know, and then you know, it's like this burger tastes terrible, but they got a lot of cool things bolted to the walls. So it'd be
16 points of flair.
But
I've got buttons.
Yeah, I have 16 buttons, but that's the minimum. Yeah, that was such a good movie.
Such a good movie.
Office Space.
Why is it so angry? She's all,
I honestly, up until this moment, I thought that Mark Hamill was in that movie Soap or TV show Soap.
Is it so comical to me? Are we still recording?
Yeah, we're recording.
Okay.
While I look up Soap, fill the time.
I'm just making sure we get past our 8-second or 8-minute mark or whatever.
Oh, yeah, it works.
The Jeff Dunham cars are wackadoo. Besides he has the 66 whatever Batmobile. He has the Michael Keaton Batmobile.
Yeah.
And then what's that 32 Roadster with a skull on the blower intake?
Yeah, that opens and closes with a throttle lever.
Yeah. He's got a lot of weird wackadoo cars.
Yeah, that's the stuff that I don't know. I mean, that makes me I think when it gets too cartoony, I kind of out. I get it, but but it like that Beetle that's the Apple Beetle. It was just
the Apple Beetle.
It just kind of it was weird, dude, and I could see it because I had my car there, and he didn't like pull up and park it next to mine, but I had polished it up and it was up for sale, but he had his whole personality in that car. And it was like, so you have those friends where they love that car. They identify with that car. It's like, sometimes it's tattooed on them, but like, it's not that cool of a car. It's so tough. I love Beetles. I think Beetles are great.
Yeah,
they're
agreed.
So entertaining to drive. I love the little sound, the little hum that they make. Everything.
My first car was a '72 Super Beetle.
Oh yeah, cool, nice. And I've had a few Beetles over the years, and I adored them. And I think driven them through floods where they kind of floated a little bit and regained traction. And probably Herbie is why I'm a car guy. I mean, totally. So I get it. So nothing against that. Just the thing of turning it into a pirate ship when he has no relation to any piracy at all. He's
not even Nordic.
Yeah, he paid for all his music downloads. He not Somalian. Has no no connections with Johnny Depp.
He always rewinds his VHSs.
Yeah. Goes down to Disneyland and just goes to the Haunted Mansion, never goes to Pirates of the Caribbean. So
he's a faker. He's a
faker.
poser.
It has nothing to do with pirates.
You want to be bogus.
But you weld on some hooks and you have ropes and stuff around your roof rack and stuff like that. So it's like...
Is that to lash things down?
A little bit of rat roddy kind of a thing or whatever. And it just kind of was like, oh, okay. And so it just kind of like... He did all that instead of doing mechanical or fun things to the car to make it go faster, handle
more sound.
Yeah,
mechanically and
perform better. Or,
stop.
If it had all that silly stuff on it, tennis rackets and things welded to it, and it was a Baja bug, maybe that would be cool or something. Like go full on Mad Max with it.
Mad Max, yeah. I see.
You go, okay, yeah, but. But whatever. I'm not sure. So it's tough when you have those friends and they have so much invested hardcore into a car.
And how do you criticize them correctly?
Because then it's like you're not just saying your car's stupid. It's like
you're saying you're
stupid.
Yeah. You and your car are stupid. Look at both of you.
Look at both of you.
I mean, that's what I would have said.
I love that. Look at both of you. That's so funny. That's way better than saying just your car's a little rough, buddy. I wouldn't have done that.
I sometimes lose my filter.
No, that's way funnier. That's way deeper than saying that. Look at both of you. It's just look at what you two have become. It's because he's identifying with his car.
Right. That's what I'm saying. And if you look at my truck while I'm standing next to it, you're like, oh, yeah. Rode hard, put away wet. Got it. Oh. They were nice at one time, but now they're a little used up.
Dude, same, man. Tell you what.
Looks like he's been rear-ended.
I'm tired of 1990s technology. Anything from the 90s now, I'm not going to buy one. I'm so tired of it.
Well, I've never had a high opinion of those 90s Fords, so...
My OBS Ford?
Yeah.
Why?
Just the problematic is the
doesn't look at all like a pirate ship, dude. Come on.
It doesn't. and it drives like one.
It's not the best ride in the world.
It floats and it goes, and then sometimes it just stays harbored for a while.
I think this is literally the 20th one that I've owned of old Ford.
You went through a
style.
couple of them in class. You went through the Expedition and then a pickup, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. Yeah. And whatever. That style, that was like the newest Ford truck I owned in a while. And then I went back.
You need to get back to the 70s.
I've literally owned, since that class, I think I've literally owned 5 Ford trucks, maybe more. No.
I think 6 or 7.
Dude, it's been way more. Yeah.
Yeah, because you had the 10 extra cab long box, right?
Yeah. But that was one of 3 I bought at the same time. And
Right.
then it's 72. And then I had another one in between those two.
The 72 I miss.
Yeah.
It was reliable.
It was.
It was.
That's why it sold for so much money. It's great. But yeah, I tell you what, I know the same criticism I'm giving to other people about their cars could be launched onto me too. But whatever. That's why I'll move on to the next thing pretty quick.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it's one of those things where I got to learn to be more sensitive about talking to people about their cars, because some people will start asking me my opinion about this thing, and I'm starting to get some backlash about being so critical about Subarus. And
It's just now you're starting to get some backlash?
well, not just now, but I mean, but other things that, that I just don't like. And I don't know if I should just be nice or if I should just lean into it even harder.
It depends on the person you're in front of, yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Some people you can totally lean into it and they'll be like, yeah, that was constructive criticism. I take it as that and nothing more. Some people are like, he hurt my feelings with that. I really care for those Subarus, and that hurt my feelings for him to bag on them like that.
Yeah. Do you ever...
So you gotta walk a fine line of whether you can or cannot lean into that sometimes.
Would you ever...
I always lean into it.
Date a woman because her car bothered you?
Yes.
Oh, that was quick. Okay.
Yeah, no hesitation.
I've never thought of it that way, but definitely have dated a girl and I didn't like her cars.
Yeah.
And then, of course, my car breaks. And I'm like, oh, hey, can you pick me up? And then she goes, yeah, you just drive this one for a week or whatever. And that's a bad idea. Exactly.
It is.
And I'm like, and I couldn't help it.
I'd rather drive a pink Jeep than that.
I couldn't help. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the pink Jeep that we borrowed was great. But, but the car I borrowed from her, I'm such a jerk that I started criticizing the car I borrowed from her, because that's what I do for a living.
Mm-hmm.
Going, we should fix this. This is really soft. These tires are cut so cheap that we should replace these things, man. And she's I could see that she's kind of boiling up going, geez, what are you saying? Because I'm letting you borrow this car.
Yeah, you're looking the gift horse in the mouth right now,
for
bucko.
Sure I was. Yeah, that was a big jerk thing of me to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you took that feedback off and just looked him right in the mouth and said, what?
Ugh. Yeah. I do not like this horse's teeth of a car.
No. What car was it? I mean, you're broke up now. It's okay.
Yeah. The car I borrowed, I criticized all her cars. The car I borrowed was one of those extra cars, and it was an 88 Oldsmobile Cutlass, basically.
What's wrong with those?
That particular one was
just no bueno, huh?
It was very rough, and it was one of those things. Like, and I understand, how if you're cleaning it off with sandpaper all the time or whatever, that's fine. It doesn't matter. I get it. It's like, oh, you got a little bit of tree sap on it. I'm going to grind this off.
Yeah.
But it was so floaty and never been, like, no suspension or bushings had ever been changed on the thing in its whole life.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of unnerving to drive at speed, I'm like, I go, oh.
That was Angelina's Cavalier that she bought.
Yeah.
She bought this Cavalier for like $600 or $800. Really cheap. Her first car. Great car for a first car, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, that thing was
And that Oldsmobile Cutlass, I remember we had one when we were kids, like when I was a kid, back in, maybe 5, 6 years old. It's the only car I've ever thrown up inside of. And it was, and I think that I doubled down when I saw it again, because I was like, it just initially made me nauseous. Just going, okay, Olds Cutlass. I'm going to roll the windows down and then drive this off. So yeah. To be fair though, like I was driving a Miata at the time that had iBox and Bilsteins and had sway bars and was pretty hard edged. And so getting into that was like waking up on the moon, and like everything was slower motion and you're bouncing a little bit further. And it's like, it's not damped at all. Wow. It was scary. So yeah, it gets unnerving.
I'm not going to say nothing about the Miata. I'll keep that to myself.
I was in a hardcore race car, the Miata. Yeah, it's pretty cool. A lot of guys in Dale Earnhardt jackets tipping their hats towards me when I drove by. It was pretty sweet.
No, they were.
Pull back up to the hair salon, get out and clock in. Yeah.
We should have a Dale Earnhardt episode.
Or a Richard Petty episode or something.
We'll do both of them. Earnhardt and Petty.
I'll have a Petty episode. And then we'll talk about NASCAR drivers.
That sounds petty.
Uh-huh. I think that, there's a better more hardcore guys out there. I don't know why. It's just that's so far tangents. Let's get the tangents out of the way.
What are we talking about this week?
We were planning about talking about Mickey Thompson.
Yeah,
actually,
Mickey Thompson.
Mickey Thompson's heart is about as hot rod as hot rodders get. I think he should be. If you ever,
he is in several halls of fame.
If you were ever trying to say who epitomizes a hot rodder, definition, picture in the dictionary, it should be Mickey Thompson. Mm-hmm. Can you think of anybody over that guy?
Well, yeah, there's going to be those guys that do the Boyd Conningtons and the Chip Fooses and those kind of guys, right? Of course, but are any of them responsible for literally land speed records,
inventing the Christmas tree lighting system on the drag strip?
Or changing the seat position of the dragsters so you get more traction, or having a world land speed record down at Bonneville Salt Flats, or having an off-road record, or being entered into the Off-Road Hall of Fame,
or building Indy cars,
or the NHRA Hall of Fame, that guy did so many fantastic things.
God bless Chip Foose.
Yeah.
God bless Dave Kindig and Boyd Coddington and all of them, and Jesse James. Jesse James might have actually done Baja, but so maybe not that, but those guys kind of stick in their wheelhouse,
Absolutely.
And and when they build a truck, it's a stretch, Yeah. It's like, whoa, you guys really went out of your comfort zone by building a C10
to do that Bronco, to do that Blazer, to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
They took the Suburban and cut it in half and did stupid stuff with it in one show.
What car? What's Suburban?
Kindig did that.
Oh, but that was like a 1950 Suburban.
Yeah.
They turned into a pickup truck.
They took away the truck of it.
It was like a unibody truck.
Now it's a car. It's a hot rod. Ooh. Sorry.
You don't say that about the El Camino. That's a unibody, right? But you like that.
It's not a unibody. It's on a frame.
Oh, yeah, it's on the frame. There is a Ford truck called the Unibody, though, that is still on a frame.
64 F-150, I believe.
F-100, yeah. But
where it was all one body.
The body and the bed were welded together.
Yeah.
I tried so hard to buy one.
Those are delicious.
Yeah, I was on the way there, and they sold it. I was like, okay. So I've been on the road for only 2 hours. I'll see you in about 6 o'clock. He goes, it's gone. I go, what the?
I've been on the road for 2 hours. So I gotta go home.
You owe me $1,000 and
December 7th, 1928 to March 16th, 1988, when he was tragically murdered in his driveway.
Yeah, going out in a crazy way too, Mickey Thompson. But he was like, he worked for like the New York Times or something like that way back when, and then he just started. It wasn't like his family was a bunch of race car drivers.
No, his dad was a cop.
And so it's like, yeah, somebody who discouraged speeding.
Yeah. His dad was the captain of Alhambra Police Department.
Dude.
Yeah.
Alhambra, not Alhambra, but Alhambra. Right?
I tried to do it right. I couldn't. Alhambra.
I lived in Alhambra, California. For,
did you?
My youth, and then, which is right next to Pasadena, so it's kind of fun. We'll go visit the original home way back when.
Yeah, he worked as a pressman for the Los Angeles Times.
Yeah,
in his early 20s.
Not wild.
And then by the time he's 35, he's setting land speed records and moving dragster seats and
yeah, exactly.
All kinds of crazy stuff. 4-engine Challenger.
I have not broken one speed record.
Broken speeds, but not the records.
Yeah. I mean, like...
I just got a ticket to prove it.
Broken speed limits, yeah. It's kind of like a record.
How many records can you break? I don't have a license anymore. Is that enough?
Yeah, that works. I have gotten up to... You kind of think about it. You go, like, what's your top speed? It's like, I drove... It was kind of nerve-wracking. I mean, I drove a modified Porsche like a 1997 or 96 Porsche 993 Turbo, and it had like 155 miles an hour. And that was nerve-wracking, but still that car was very capable, and probably had 700 horse or something like that. And I'm still proud of that speed.
Yeah. I can't imagine going 150 miles an hour.
And it was great. And they accelerated quick. You know, it was just like, wow, that's intense. A lot of wind noise, but the steering actually felt heavier than I thought it was going to. And it was okay. It was pretty stable, but that was a pretty capable car. And relatively modern at the time I drove it. But that his thing was to go break 400 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm thinking about that because, yeah, you get that tunnel vision, the Fast and Furious kind of videos of things like, flying past you really quick.
In a blur.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Totally an accurate movie. And then, and then thinking, going like, what if I quadrupled this speed?
Like with 3 more engines
or something like that. And like, that's what his goal is on loose surface out in on Bonneville.
And they did it back in, I think he did it in 1960, broke the first American to break the 400 mile an hour barrier.
Well, I think
and they only did one-way top speeds back then. You didn't have to do the return run to confirm it.
Okay. Yeah, so, you didn't do an average of both ways. Because that was part of what he was doing, because he set up those timing things. So it's kind of funny that it's like going, oh, well, let's make an average of both after he broke those records or whatever. Yeah. And he decides
he beat the John Cobb's one-way record of 402 with 406.6. So then he's like, well, if you want to be really badass about it, you do it twice, because you do it going out there and then you do it coming back, all right? That's how real men do it.
But I love that he did it with, saw an interview with his son did on YouTube, and it's like, goes, yep, he went on vacation to Bonneville. He looked around and he says, yeah, this would be a good place to break a record or whatever. And they started building a car, didn't make it to 400, then built this Challenger car, which had 4 Pontiac V8s with chain drives to connect them around the drive shaft. It's insane. And it's a gorgeous car. I mean, it's real long, real low, with these big old scoops coming out the top. Bulbous. Oh,
sorry for cursing.
It was so amazing looking car. I remember, like, we were talking about that, like building model kits or at least buying model kits of this thing. It was amazing, and they didn't make it past 400. So with nitromethane, 4 Pontiac V8s, and lightweight. And cruising down, and still didn't break past in 400, and then came back and said, "Well, let's supercharge them." And then they supercharged all 4, then nitromethane, and then shooting down the salt flats, and then got over 400. What was the speed? Broke the record at
406.
406.
Yeah.
It's like, phew, first man to break 400 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nuts.
But before that, he designed the first slingshot dragster in 1954.
And slingshot,
moving the seat behind the rear axle to improve traction.
It's as uncomfortable as a slingshot bikini, right? Because you're in the back and there's a drive shaft right between your legs, right?
Barely. Right? I mean, that's almost direct drive.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Your knees are really over it because you're sitting in like a cage behind the car.
You're straddling that transmission. Your feet are behind that motor and shit like that.
The engine. Where's the engine on that thing?
In front of you.
Still in front of you, in front of the rear axle. And then you just got basically a tube frame extending out to the front wheels pretty far.
Yeah.
So you get to sit back there and you get to check on your engine the whole time because you're seeing
and breathe
it happen.
Everything it's putting out.
All the nitro and everything else is going into your lungs.
Okay, it's so
into your eyes.
When I brought that up with my brother Simon, he goes, "Well, yeah, and it's Don Garlitz who lost a foot because the clutch exploded." The scatter shield didn't tick. So that's when he
Not all his foot.
Yeah, just half of his foot. Well, yeah. So then he put the seat in front of the engine so all the weight of the engine could be on the axle. And,
yeah.
And
they tried to outlaw nitromethane because of it.
Right, but no.
And
nothing runs better than nitro.
That goes back to the best quote in the world that I got it on a trucker hat that Don Garlitz said. He goes, gasoline's for cleaning, alcohol's for drinking, and nitromethane's for racing.
Yes.
Because
you use gas to clean your parts.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. So
alcohol's for drinking between rounds.
Right. And so you don't want to run on alcohol. You don't want to run on gasoline. We want to run on nitromethane.
Please.
Because the California was trying to outlaw nitromethane.
Don Garlitz in 1971 did the rear-engined digger.
Yeah. And but it's nuts, like having you in the most vulnerable place in the car,
right,
hung out the back there, and they're wearing gas masks. Because
they were literally wearing gas masks.
Yeah,
because they're just breathing in all that methane.
Yeah, unburnt nitro. Yeah,
if not alcohol, if not gas, whatever it is, it's horrible.
Yeah, and all the tire, great. These tires, I'm sure, held together perfectly fine all the time. Back then. Yeah, all that rubber flying into your face and whatever came off of the ground. It's not like they're putting fenders on these things. So, it all goes right into your face.
Well, in '58, he built a twin-engine dragster with Fritz Voigt, and it achieved 294 in the quarter mile.
Yeah.
In 1958.
Yeah.
That's insanity, dude.
Yeah.
What's his name? Kenny Bernstein barely got 300 miles an hour. It was 299 or something like that up here at Bandimere.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 years ago.
Jeez.
So 40 years after that, the chopped fuel dragsters are getting to that number. But also here at that altitude, that's a big deal. But
yeah.
Still.
But yeah, I remember that when that article came out and they broke 300 for the first time back in 2000 still, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's insane. Going 300 miles an hour in a quarter mile.
Yeah.
You're 0 to 60 foot, you're at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And we know about the 60 foot because Mickey Thompson created that timing system too. and then started Lions Dragway out in California.
Lions Drag Strip in Wilmington, California in 1955.
And so, yeah, had a lot of that experience. I mean, this guy's so hardcore, it's just like hot rod racing and drag racing. And
that doesn't even talk about his Indianapolis years.
I didn't know until I started reading about him too, that his first real big thing into getting into racing. I mean, the guy had nobody was saying no, or nobody was saying no loud enough. And certainly not himself, to stop him from doing wild stuff. Wild stuff. Because there's a race in Mexico that there's a friend of Pinky's doing it this year, I believe. And he's got a 54 Corvette because it's started in 1954. And it's called the La Carrera Pan America. Mm-hmm. It's a 1,000-mile race from the bottom of Mexico all the way to the top. south to north, not just bottom to top. Not you don't drill and then swim up. The sorry,
Although that's an option.
yeah, but I don't think you win that way. Huh? But
Pretty sure you're not going to get to the finish line first.
But yeah, it's like 1,000 kilometers or 1,000 miles. I don't know. It's
1,000 miles by us, but it's
okay. But yeah, Carrera Pan America,
Yeah.
and that's what Porsche Pan America. That's what it's named after. Carrera, that's what it's named after. This race. It's the and 54. There's they still race it every year, but I think you're encouraged to not have anything. You're supposed to have a car that's like around 54 or whatever around
Right.
that time, vintage racing stuff. So you can go on the race with a brand new car now, but it's different classes and all that stuff. So,
Yeah.
but they still do the race all the way through Mexico. And Mickey Thompson, when he was a kid, basically got a local Ford dealer to give him a 54 Ford, a brand new Ford. And he got some 17-year-old kid, a friend of his, to help him,
pit crew and stuff.
pit crew and hop in the car with him.
And they did the race?
They did the race.
That's awesome.
Yeah. But they did end up crashing out and killing about 6 people. So in that race. So that's rough. He tried to swerve to avoid a little girl down in Mexico who's on the road because they were gawking at another wreck, and they swerved and then went off the road and kind of swerved back or whatever. I don't know. And
Overcorrected, perhaps.
something wild, and then ended up killing a few people there. So that pretty bad stuff. So there's a lot of bad stuff that goes there, like hardcore both ways, giant victories. And he also did that, did the $400 mile per hour record after this. So
Right.
he did recover from that psychologically. But holy cow. I don't know if I would. I might be on a bicycle.
He did everything in the world after that.
Yeah.
Because he was only in his 20s when he did that. And if he did that in 54 and he was born in 28, he was only 26.
Yeah.
When he did that.
Yeah. So, dang.
Yeah. I mean, he was doing shit when he was in his 20s, setting records and stuff. Took cars to Indianapolis 500 for 6 years. He tried to take an all-wheel drive, rear-engine car to Indy.
Yeah.
And it ended up not finishing because of the motor. And then he took Mach 1 Mustangs to the Indy. But none of them really did that well. He didn't really drive them.
Well, he was IndyCar designer, basically, engineer.
Yeah.
So and
He
then
would take 3 cars and have people race them, yeah.
yeah, until there was another tragic wreck that killed his driver and another guy at the time, and he got out of IndyCar racing because of that. So it's like, okay,
That's when he went to off-roading?
Well, we went back to drag racing, hardcore, and then the timeline. I know we're leaping around with the timeline, but then he went, and then it was like Lions drag racing, or back to drag racing, get more hardcore on that, and then start building more stuff, and then go, land speeds, all these things, and then later on when things start slowing down, let's go off-road racing with like 2-frame buggies and Broncos. I mean, what kind of vehicles was he driving off-road?
He was doing Broncos. But he also set up the M-Tech, Mickey Thompson. I lost it. Entertainment Group, which is the Stadium Super Trucks now.
Oh, yeah.
And he also started Score International, which is now taken over by Mexico.
Scores the off-road racing for Baja.
Yeah.
Baja 1000.
Baja 400, 500, 1000, 750, I believe. Yeah. Score International is all that. Actually, I believe they have races from Nevada down to Mexico, California down to Mexico, stuff like that. Score International. He started that in Mickey Thompson Entertainment Group, which was basically all those 80s Jeeps, Ford Rangers, Toyota, not even Tacomas, they were SR5s, racing indoors.
I mean, gosh. How do you...
I believe he started all that in the 70s. 73 was when he started, I believe, Score.
Did you really? Gosh. I don't know, man. It's like if you had just one of these things under your belt, that would be the only thing that I would talk about, you know?
Right? He developed a Mach 1 Mustang funny car with a dragster-like chassis.
Dude, that was another thing, too, because it was like the funny car things.
69 NHRA Spring Nationals.
Well, he invented that segment of funny cars, basically, invented it. But because he was trying to get manufacturers to sponsor, and they were just doing engines or whatever. But to get some people to really recognize, that relates to what I see in the showroom, because you look at a small block Ford, you look at a small block Chevy, it's like, the distributor's up front, it's a Ford. Now I'm going to buy that one because it was in a race car that I saw on Sunday. It's going to be tougher than saying, look, that thing looks like a Falcon. I'm going to buy that. Right. It looks like a Comet, but the wheelbase is weird. It's like forward a bit.
Altered and stuff like that. Yeah.
So it looks funny. Yeah. So these are the funny cars because of that. But
exactly.
But they got... And that's where they got the names. But literally, like, that's how he used it to have like more stock looking cars coming in on these tube frame chassis.
What wins on Sunday, you buy on Monday.
Sell on Monday. Yeah,
sells on Monday.
And then but that was to get Ford and Chevy and everybody to come in, Dodge to come in and race their cars there and get some more money into the track.
He was racing on his own tires, too, because he started his own tire company in 63.
Yeah, in 63, yeah.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
What a maniac.
Yeah.
And we still use his tires.
Oh, yeah.
And his valve covers.
And his valve covers, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, I know. He sells way more valve covers than he does any valve tray now. Can you get Mickey Thompson, like, rockers or anything else? I mean, like, or do you just buy?
I think back then he used Keith Black stuff. He used other people's stuff.
Really?
Yeah.
So
he just did accessories and
that's funny,
etc. Except for the tires, he was legit on the tires.
Yeah, I mean, and then going out to Baja racing, and then having a specialized paddle tire, basically,
right,
on these tube frame buggies. It's pretty awesome. Developing a tire to dig into the sand a little bit more and then race with it.
Oh my gosh, dude!
Yeah, because I mean, I'd be pretty comfortable just doing what I was doing. Doing IndyCar, doing Carrera Pan America, doing
staying in one bubble, right?
Drag racing, land speed records.
One bubble.
It's like, okay, that's pretty good. Let's go off-road racing now.
Right. Let's get a good old Olympia Bronco and go Baja.
Yeah. Bananas, dude. Yeah, he's a legend. And worst haircut, coolest guy ever. That weird military haircut that he had forever. It was like all the posters and all the books and stuff about him.
Same haircut?
Yeah, but everybody had that back then, I guess.
Yeah, even in the 80s.
It's an awesome story. But
and he was killed over $768,000.
Yeah.
That his partner didn't want to pay.
Do you want to? Yeah, because that was in Pasadena. When did he get killed?
March 16th, 1988.
1988. Yeah, I was still in California when that happened. I was not that I was
could remember it.
Not that I could really remember it, but because I was 7 or something. But I think that it was incredible when it wasn't solved for decades.
17 years or something like that. The guy didn't get prosecuted till 2007.
2007?
Yeah, he didn't get his final verdict until 2007 because not until October 2006, it took the Pasadena Superior Court judge to make him go to trial.
Because Mickey and his wife Trudy pull up home to home or whatever. And
they were leaving in the morning to go, and Trudy pulled the car out, and he was closing the door.
Yeah,
and
they got gunned down.
Yeah, and they still haven't found the two people that killed them. Literally, that killed them.
They rolled, and then they ride off in bicycles.
Yeah, right off on bicycles. Didn't steal their jewelry, their money, nothing.
Which kind of gave it away that this was a hit and not a robbery. Or
he got shot once, and then he went back and shot him in the center of the eye, right in the center of the skull.
Yeah.
So
just make sure he was out. It's like, ugh. And then, so this was all went down to, or got traced back to his business partner, who was
a pile of crap, basically.
A pile of crap, yeah. What was his name? Thomas?
Mike Frank
Sorry
Goodwin.
For cursing.
Michael Frank Goodwin.
And repeatedly refused to pay
$768,000 in a settlement owed to Thompson.
That he owed Mickey Thompson. So, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and off you and your wife. And then problem solved.
Right.
Goodwin and his wife also bought $275,000 worth of gold coins 2 months before the Thompsons were murdered, and wired $400,000 to banks in Grand Turk Island. And Goodwin and his wife then left the U.S. 5 months after the murder on their yacht and did not return for more than 2 years.
Okay, but $400,000 in 1988. Mm-hmm. That's $875,000 to us today.
Oh, okay. Well, then it's reasonable. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm just saying. They moved a lot of money.
Well, in gold, too. I mean...
Well, to spend $250,000 on fucking gold back then? How much was gold worth in 1988? Not $2,000 an ounce. Not $2,000 an ounce. It was worth $800 an ounce.
It's so wild.
So that $275,000 is over $1 million in gold coins today. And that $400,000 is $875,000 twice.
Yeah. And you know what kind of helped give away Goodwin is when a lot of witnesses said that he said,
quote unquote,
I'm going to kill that son of a bitch. I'm going to kill that. I'm going to take out Mickey. I'm too smart to get caught. I'll have him wasted. He'll never see a nickel. I'll kill him first. Mickey doesn't know who he is effing with. He's effing dead. So it establishes a motive. If you read between the lines, you know, it's like, gee whiz, dude. I don't know, man.
Oh, my God.
But I mean, of all the other people in the world that
you could have a beef with and killed, not him.
Well, also I was going to say like that there's been tons of film and 35 millimeter and digital cameras wasted on retelling their lives.
Yeah.
And then there hasn't been a big, cool movie about Mickey Thompson. There's been documentaries, but nothing like really awesome. I mean, this guy...
Dude, how do you put that into 2 hours?
No, I know, but you could do a
miniseries?
A miniseries or whatever, you know, yeah.
That'd be 8 hours. You'd have 8 1-hour sessions.
Yeah, exactly. Because, I mean, like, even just kind of going, like, we should do a Mickey Thompson episode. I'm going, there's too much to read about this guy. There's too much info. But, I mean, like...
We could do a whole hour on his Indianapolis stuff.
Yeah. But
alone.
Because, yeah, it's just, bam, tragedy, you know, success, tragedy, over and over again. Mm-hmm. And wild innovations and inventions and racing with Dan Gurney and everybody else and all these big names. And it's like, bam.
Dude.
You know, I mean, he knew everybody. He was connected to everybody. He built stuff, owning racetracks. I mean, come on. Nothing, no bigger guy than Mickey Thompson. And I guess what kind of prompted it in my mind, too, was when George Patet died, you know, recently. And I was like, kind of thinking, you know, land speed record guy, big time, meant a lot to a lot of us in the hot rod industry.
Yeah, yeah.
Funded a lot of projects, funded a Pinky's build or bought a Pinky's build and funded it. Mm-hmm. Kept a lot of shops alive. We should even do a George Patet podcast, too. But that was, you know, I just said howdy to him. I didn't get to talk to him, but years ago at Good Guys. But it was just but it was always cool, you know, that he came to the shop and was shaking hands and stuff. It was awesome. but
it's a big loss either way.
it's huge. Yeah. And, and then you kind of get to thinking about, he was pretty big and endeared by or loved by so many people here in a.
And then you have Gene Winfield, who's 95 now,
and holding on,
and still shaping metal.
Gene Winfield is kind of funny. I mean, because I was at
that dude's amazing.
Great National Roadster Show.
How's his body not worn out?
He was around in a Rascal scooter kind of a thing in the lobby of the hotel, and he was giving women rides on a scooter. They're sitting on his lap while he's driving them around.
You betcha.
And they were kissing on him, and
dude.
He had so much attention. And they were, really good looking women, and and they're hassling Gene, and but he's dancing and everything with them, and then also at the show, and definitely enjoying his hot rod fame.
Mickey Thompson now?
Yeah, if Mickey Thompson
could be 96 now.
Yeah.
94, 96 now.
Yeah, so he'd still be around.
98.
Imagine how much more he could have done,
96.
It'd be like how much faster every car would be.
What kind of land speed records would have his name on them and whatever's?
Yeah, well, or if he had the attention span to stay in.
He'd be right there racing with Ivan Stewart. Iron Stewart.
Iron Ivan Man. Iron Man
Stewart.
Iron Ivan Man. Ivan Man?
Iron Man Stewart.
Thank you.
Yeah.
He had his own video game, though.
He did.
Ivan Stewart.
Toyota's fucking made Toyotas in honor of him.
With the least accurate steering ever of any video game ever.
Oh, jeez.
Remember that video game where you just spin the wheel hardcore?
It was 1990, dude. What do you want?
I want more accurate steering. It was fun.
Dude, it was still analog. It wasn't even digital.
Oh, yes, it was. But I was out, it
was one step above Pong.
I was a month ago. I was out with my buddy James, and we went to James, here's your mention again in this episode.
Darn you, James.
Where we went to Vegas, but we also went to the Pinball Museum.
Oh, you didn't say that?
Oh, yeah. It was probably one of the highlights of the whole trip. I don't know video games but
how did you not bring that up, man?
I don't know, because there was a million things going on.
I'm a little disappointed. Tell me about
there was an Iron Man Ivan Stewart racing video game, the 1990s, Pizza Hut video game with the 4 steering wheels, and James and I raced. And? James beat me because I'm frustrated as heck with the thing, but also
the steering's not accurate. I'm not playing.
James is deceptively fast, so he beats me every time we go out to lunch. But but that was a fun game. I remember, but it was also one of those things where you're tempted because they have a really good bearing in the steering wheel on that video game.
You could just wing.
So you just wing it and it spins, and then you got to catch it, and it doesn't stop turning the car on the screen right away, and then you counter, and then back and forth. So you can't slowly turn the wheel either. It's had a lot of play, and I wonder if those Toyota race trucks had the same amount of play.
You just brought back so many memories.
Wouldn't it be awesome, though, to paint it up?
Because you're supposed to spin it and then stop then spin it and stop.
Yeah.
You're supposed to stop it right before.
It's the best feeling ever.
You play that a certain way.
Yeah, I know. I spent a big part of my income on that machine. I remember at the Pizza Hut.
As a youth.
The Shoney's Pizza back as a youth. Yeah, whatever. Pizza Hut. Then, and yes, swinging that wheel hard. And also, yeah, it had a good weight to it. It was so fun, so satisfying, I guess you call it.
But you have to stop before the turn, and that way it stops.
Anticipate that stuff. Yeah, and I can't do that. But maybe you can. But wouldn't it be rad if you found one of those video games, painted up your Toyota like it, those off-road truck?
I would love to have my truck that color without the video game.
All the stripes.
Keep going.
And then put that steering wheel in that
the truck.
Oh. That hard plastic,
tiny little
high wear rim. Yeah.
A tiny, 8-inch, 10-inch
steering wheel. And put 14 turns lock to lock or something like that. And so every turn that you have to make, you wing it down and then wing it up. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
It'd be so much work. You're so tired from work. Oh, God. I'm calling a tow truck.
Yeah, exactly. But, but if you got tired and you want to get home fast, then you just run over a gas can and it'd speed you up.
It speeds you up. Gives you a nitrous boost. But yeah, Thompson and Stewart racing, that would have been awesome to see.
Oh, yeah. And,
who knows what he would have come up with after, with all the technology moving forward.
Yeah, and he did a lot of safety innovations and everything too, because of learned the hard way, and
because of tragedies.
but I mean, who knows how much faster he would have been? There's not a lot of people who've gone over 400 miles an hour, especially with a piston engine vehicle. But man, I tell you what, like, I don't know, like, would he be into helicopter racing now? Would he be drone striking? What kind of...
He'd be one of those Red Bull pilots.
Yeah.
Doing those stunt plane things.
I know, right? Yeah. What's next or whatever? He's like going, I'm the fastest guy to the moon.
I could see him doing like rally.
I beat Neil Armstrong. I'm so much faster.
European rallies and Dakars, maybe doing that.
Yeah. WRC.
Yeah. I could see him going that way with it.
Yeah. Be pretty incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, and Mickey Thompson tires are cool.
They're still on the road.
And it makes me want to buy a set after reading all this stuff, I mean, and they're good.
The Dick CPEC company and Mickey Thompson are now one company.
Oh, okay.
So they're all under one umbrella. And Holly probably brought them all out.
I know, yeah. They're going to own us, this podcast soon. They bought so many companies.
Well, okay, as long as we're sponsored. Come on, Holly.
And I would welcome the good people at Holly
to look into it.
Yeah, Industries. But okay,
maybe they'll start the Patreon for us.
Yeah, there you go. One side note though, with Holly buying Dakota Digital and a bunch of other companies.
Oh, everything.
Now they're slowly I'm sure they're going to be more and more plug and play as they go now.
Absolutely, yeah.
So then it just...
The Dakota Digital already plugs and plays to the...
Dakota Digital's way better than they used to be, right?
Everything.
Yeah, they're a little fiddly, but they're not bad, you know? And then, but I mean, having everything just connected, it's like, make it a lot easier to hot rod out a car.
And they're going to sell a lot more products.
Yeah. Why not, dude?
Yeah.
But, and I wonder where Mickey Thompson would be with that stuff and with commercial products now. But, his son actually got a land speed record on it too, driving another Challenger
vehicle
speed record because they had it was kind of a stunted, project that they weren't able to achieve with or break a record with. And then he kind of went back and redeemed it and went like 448 miles an hour or something like that, and held the piston speed record for a while too.
Cool.
So his son doing that, driving it.
He doesn't seem to have the work ethic that his dad had,
or maybe he has something else he's doing, but it's definitely a different, not the same fire in the belly, but I mean, very few people in the world could live up to that.
Yeah,
I mean.
There's very few Mickey Thompsons, Carroll Shelbys, Ivan Stewarts. But people who are innovative like that, who take an industry, a whole industry. Mm-hmm. He just took the automotive industry to other levels, not just in one genre. He did it in several genres. Yeah, yeah,
road racing, IndyCar, quarter mile,
off-road racing.
Land speed.
Yeah.
Just to name a few.
Insane, dude. And then he was a pressman at the LA Times.
Yeah, and the newspaper. Yeah. Yeah. Self-promotion. I think if you guys don't know about Mickey Thompson, well, now you do. But also, somebody has to make a movie about him that's entertaining. I mean, this would put World's Fastest Indy into shame.
That's a great movie, though.
A great movie. But
great movie.
Yeah, but then looking at all this stuff,
it's only so much of his life, though.
Yeah,
it's only the last 2 years
of Burt Munro's life.
Yeah,
yeah.
Poor guy.
Well, he
lived 80 years before that.
Yeah, and also that he did a lot after that movie
did,
too. It's
but
not like he just went once and was there. He went back years.
He did a
years
lot before he went there. He made his own pistons. He made a bunch of his own shit in that little shed garage.
Yeah, and he pales in comparison to Mickey Thompson. Mickey Thompson's a lot better.
I don't know. Bert was in England.
Around.
If Bert was in America, he would have been in...
Bert was in New Zealand.
See? Even further
He
from...
didn't even make it to England.
He was even further from all the good stuff.
Didn't even try to be born in England.
I'm so sorry.
I'm kidding. No, but yeah, Mickey Thompson is such a much better story. It's a good story. They did a beautiful movie. I love it.
We'd have to break it up into several hour-long episodes, though.
Yeah.
You'd have to do decades.
Well, they could do a movie on any one of those things that he started.
Yeah.
I mean, or was
literally,
into.
yeah.
Yeah, and just take a slice out of life there, It's like Batman movies. You can't have every single character in there all at once.
They try, though.
Yeah, they do, and it's horrible.
The Avengers get away with it all the time. What are you talking about?
Okay, well then do a Mickey Thompson Avengers movie style, where they just flashback,
Off-road Mickey, and then you got drag racing Mickey, and you got land speed Mickey.
It'd be rad.
All out there tuning on cars.
Yeah.
That'd be sick.
Okay. Shake on it?
Shake.
Deal. All right.
Deal. Done.
I'm glad we agree.
Verbal contract. It's in the podcast. It's legal binding now.
Yeah, now do you hear us, Hollywood? Get to it.
Come on, Patreon.
Who would you have as a starring Mickey Thompson?
Me.
You? Okay, good. Thanks, Greg.
I'll just volunteer. Go ahead.
Okay, we already got it casted. Done.
Who's going to be Trudy?
I'm not doing it.
Damn it.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for listening. Like and subscribe. Tell your friends. Text us.
Subscribe.
In this description below.
Please text us. Ask us questions.
On Instagram.
Tell us how good or bad we are.
Tell us how good we are, but not how bad we are. Because I can't take it because I'm fragile. Greg can, but not me. All right, guys. Later. Thanks so much.